forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners, wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection, and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
baila, con ritmo desde Martín. Baila, baila, baila. Ritmo, ritmo. Sí, ritmo, ritmo. Para mí, ritmo, ritmo. Sí, ritmo, ritmo. Aquí, ritmo, ritmo. Ahora, ritmo, ritmo. Muchacha, ritmo, ritmo. Aquí, ritmo, ritmo. Allá. Dulce, ¿no? Sí. Ah. Chica, chica, let's do it together. Get down, and come closer. Binaka muchacha, dance to the rumba. Ritmo de St. Martin, have the people dancing.
Morning vibes, fresh energy. This is the NETT Radio Breakfast Show.
Look at the people only falling for more. Baila, baila.
Well, everybody, good morning to you. It's a beautiful Thursday morning as we head into the weekend.
Okay, together.
Wherever you may be, we welcome you. It's so good to be in your company, and thank you very much for choosing us and being here. Just in case you're wondering where here is, this is a New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio,
Shake it down, shake it down.
taking you above and beyond. Of course, we are the heartbeat of the Caribbean. Much thanks to the Heavenly Father, as always, for bringing us together for another day.
Nothing real.
All that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing, honor to you. Trinidad, Tobago, and neighbors in the Caribbean, friends who stream all around the globe, good day to you. I'm yours truly, Sir Charles, checking in. Happy am I to be in your company in the land of the living. And we welcome everybody this morning to the breakfast show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line. Let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Good morning, and welcome to the breakfast show on this Thursday morning. Today is Thursday, Wendell. Thursday morning. Of course, you know the weekend begins tonight at a second after midnight, and you know we love a weekend on the breakfast show. So welcome, of course, broadcasting you live out of Trinidad and Tobago, and welcoming our viewers and our listeners in Trinidad and Tobago, up the Caribbean and across the planet, wherever you are. A big good morning to you, and thank you for choosing us. We know you have choices, and we're glad you chose us. Good morning to my co-host, Wendell and Sir Charles. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Wendell. Richard, like he drank something early this morning. In a bubbly mood this morning.
And I'm now about to drink it.
Good morning, Wendell. Good morning.
Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard Ragubasing. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. It's an absolutely beautiful Thursday. Yes, said Tuesday. It's a beautiful Thursday morning in Trinidad and Tobago, as it is all over the globe. I don't know why you mixing up your days. You said Tuesday. It's Thursday. All right? Or as Dr. Job used to say,
God bless you. God bless
it's the day of the God of Thor, the God of thunder, Thor's day. You remember when he said that, Richard? So it's Thor's day, not Thor's day. All right? Anyway, we're happy to be in the land of the living. Happy birthday. We have two of our ardent fans celebrating birthdays today. Bernadette Brown. Today's her birthday. Happy birthday, Bernadette.
Happy birthday, Bernadette.
And Diane Payne. Happy birthday also to Diane Payne, who also messages us on a regular basis. Happy birthday to them both. Who else I have? Edric Gibbs. I haven't seen or heard from Edric Gibbs in ages. He is also celebrating his birthday today. All right. and Pauline Asgarali Gomez. All right, they are all celebrating birthdays today, October 9th. All right, happy birthday. And anybody else on the net celebrating a birthday, have an absolutely fantastic Thursday, not Tuesday, like Richard said earlier.
Yeah. I wanted to say a happy birthday, a belated birthday to my good friend Denise Athley. Of course, she lives in London. She lives in England. She's been living there for years, but I forgot her birthday was yesterday. Even though I sent her a message yesterday, happy birthday, but of course it would have been today in England already.
Okay.
So yeah, I was a little late, but a big, beautiful, happy birthday to you, Denise. Mwah.
Did you say Athley?
Athley, yes.
Okay, all right. I thought it's Athley said. All right. Happy birthday, belated greetings, Denise. And
I have one birthday to send out. Greeting also to send out to Karen Mohammed. Karen is celebrating her birthday today. She's in Santa Monica Gardens. That is close to you guys up there, Wendell.
Santa Monica? Santa Monica.
Off where Pismart is there. What does called that street?
Oh, Umea Road.
Mousica Road.
Mousica
Road.
Yes, off Mousica. Closer.
Okay, I don't know that name though, Santa Monica Gardens. I don't know that name.
Yeah. So, happy birthday to you, Karen. Have a great day, a fantastic day.
Karen as opposed to Karen?
I think tomorrow is...
Karen as in close to Corinne.
Oh, that, okay. What's that, Richard? What is he reading?
Is it that Steve Karen's birthday tomorrow?
Steve is the 11th.
Is 11 or the 10th?
Steve is Saturday, yes. Steve is Saturday. Yeah, Steve is Saturday.
I know he was like 10th or 11th. I can remember.
He's 11th.
Yeah.
He's 11th. Yeah. He's 11th.
All right, cool. Oh, he is on that day that you don't leave foul to watch court is on at Cipriani College. So Steve you can celebrate your birthday at the play at Cipriani College this weekend on Saturday, and of course it's also on Sunday, as in tomorrow 8:30 and Sunday at 6:30. Tickets available at usual outlets, and of course at the box office at Cipriani College, which opens from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. Get your tickets early. I tell you, but each time you do this play, more and more people are hearing about it.
You know, somebody's gonna tell Steve you called his name about coming to the play, and he's gonna message you for 2 free tickets, right?
Yeah, but he hasn't been to a play in a while, quite frankly. I know his parents come sometimes. You know, Mr. and Mrs. Can, but he hasn't come in a while. To be honest, I can't remember the last time. Maybe he came to America Dance. Maybe I can't remember.
You're saying it have a little bacchanal with him going on?
Yeah. So.
Is that what you're suggesting?
I never said that.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying that at all. You know, am I sticking to you?
What? No, nobody's sticks to me.
Because you are No, say, am I sticking visually to you because you are sticking visually to me?
Oh, well, it could be because
my
of
problem.
Internet. It could be because of my internet. I don't have Flow. Flow is yet to come back to deal with my situation. So I have a little Digicel box. You know, in the package that I have with Digicel, they gave a little internet box that you could move around from wherever you go. So that's what I'm using. So I don't know how. Yeah. I've never used it before. So I don't know if it's that it's not as awful.
Flow hasn't resolved your problem yet.
No, they said they come in 8 o'clock this morning. So I'm waiting.
Okay. Service for you, Wendell.
Yeah.
You're coming to fix something and mess it up.
And then they're sending.
All right, but let's get to the good news.
I'm not responding to the survey. Why are you sending a survey?
They're sending what?
A survey.
Oh, the survey is right.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna do that. Ridiculous. But am I sticking generally to anybody else? Is it that
Don't worry, man, you're workable.
I'm worried about sticking to Richard,
You should be lucky to stick to me. Anyway, strangely enough, I had some problems even last night. I don't know, when you have some disturbing, well, I can't say it's disturbing dreams, but anyway, it wouldn't be the category of disturbing.
You've been having a lot
Yeah,
of
not
dreams.
disturbing.
What's going on?
Wouldn't be
What's going on?
disturbing.
Talk to us. Talk to us. We have NETT.
I don't know.
Talk to us.
Well, but most importantly, because I'm a professional.
My name is Aisha Lawrence, and welcome to Laurentum Gardens, where we bring farm to table. So basically, Laurentum Gardens is farm to table. So this business started with my husband and I choosing to come out of the corporate world and getting into farming. We love agriculture, we love farming. So with that now, we use the knowledge from the corporate world to incorporate something fantastic. We do our own coconut oils, we do our own honey, we do our own pepper sauce, and everything comes out of our garden with the help of our children and our staff.
Hi, my name is Shanae Bayer, and at Laurentum Gardens, we have a wide range of pepper sauces, from pickled pepper to roast pepper. Our favorite is the roast pepper.
Hi, my name is Zuri. We sell processed and dry simos here at Laurentum Gardens. We also sell molasses and cannabis oil.
We accept cash or links payments. Also, you can check us out on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. Or you could come look for us in person in Matura, Carib Road, Tuesdays to Sunday, 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Thank you.
It's kind of like an ad, but I liked the fact that they, that they were doing everything purely from the land and, making the decision to leave corporate Trinidad corporate Trinidad and Tobago and to go into farming is as a family.
Yeah.
There's a huge risk that, you're taking. You really have to be passionate about it and saying, this is what we're doing, And it's so good to see people, doing those kinds of things and making something out of it and doing your own honey and doing your own pepper sauce and doing your own what was the other thing? All of these products that are doing purely from the land.
Yeah.
And so I just thought it was a nice video of a different type of family coming from corporate Trinidad and going straight into farming and the land,
I like it.
I'm going to use this for good news tomorrow. And maybe want to go on Matura, but I'm like, oh, good. How far is Matura?
Matura is heading up Toko way. Eh? Matura is where the turtles come in. The back turtles come in.
Matura is heading to Toko, yeah. It's Toko side. It's Toko side,
yeah. Yeah, but I've never, there's a place. I was going to ask where Laurentum Gardens is, and then she said Matura Road in Toko. I like it. Forgive me for that. You see that glare?
That's not good news for today.
Falling apart in this bloody house these days. My blinds, just so the other day, I can't even close it off now. So that glare you're seeing on me is as a result of the blinds not working anymore. I need a new house.
So you can't close it manually?
Well, that's what I tried, but it's not, I had to put something over it, that blackout or something. Or else I have to move from where I am. Because the sun is shining beautifully this morning in area.
Well, see, it's coming in so beautiful. Let's see if we can greet the people on the street.
Yeah, let's do that. So my apologies for that glare you're seeing on my face, showing up all the worry lines. Diane Payne came in at 5:22. Ooh, everybody slept late last night, but Richard, everybody slept except you. Good morning, guys, all in the live chat. Today is my birthday. I was born in the best month of October, and you are, in fact, Libra. Happy birthday, Diane. Melissa from Shafler says good
Oh,
morning.
happy birthday, Diane Payne.
Ava Smith, blessed morning, Richard Wendell and Sid Charles. Eunice Dublin, Odell Guy, Alistair Hart, Boy Bidesi. Vernon Smith says good. It's Friday Eve. Give thanks for another day. Slick Money Grip also says good morning. Manuel Peters, Erica Charles, thank God for life. Michael Cadet, Margaret Thomas, Rena Jennings from Pity Valley. Robert Taylor, Sherwin and Juliet Kerr, Marlon Motley.
Morning, Sherwin and Juliet.
Miguel Gonzalez.
Morning, Marlon.
Kathy Ann Charles. I clearly am a bit delayed to you, Richard. And Arlene in Bronxville. Carol Guevara, Lambert Bruce, Calvin Frank, Margarita Chow. Birthday blessings to you, Diane. That's from Carol. Pamela Grimshaw. To the best trio on radio. Oliver Manwarin says good morning. Ian Stewart, Joyce Phillip, Philomena Ali, Kenny in Harlem, GH, Magic. Alistair Hart says St. Charles, that's the St. Martin song. What song is that?
Mighty Dow. The first song that you played just now.
Oh, okay.
Mighty Dow. St. Martin Rumba.
Oh. Patricia Defoe, Marlene Saunders Sober says another beautiful day above the ground. Apollinaris also says good morning. You all good. May the Lord grant you all good strength and encouragement. Wayne Ramsey, Dwayne Sylvester, I'm spreading the love of God with us all today. Natalie Hoyt says good morning. I love watching you all. It makes my day. Ingrid from Tucson, Arizona. Julia Batiste. Debbie Modest. David McCarthy.
Morning, Ingrid.
Thank guys and Carol for the greetings. Anne Noel, Ambrose Blah, Bernadette and Nelicia Yates, Suzette Jessup, that's the twin of Suzanne. Diane Payne says, good business family. Thanks, Richard, for that good news. It was, in fact, excellent news. Suzette also says good morning. Prabha Ramdial says good morning. Florence Bazi, Amanda Edwin, that's from both Damien and I. Oh, they resolved their differences. It's Damien and Amanda now.
Good morning, Amanda and Damien.
They patch up. I see morning, no. Damien and Edwin, I just teasing it. I mean, Damien and Amanda, I'm just teasing, right? You know, I'm miserable when I'm ready. Michael Robinson from Yokohama, Japan. Sankofa says bountiful birthday, graces and blessings. Octoberians. Sankofa, when is your birthday? It's coming up soon, isn't it? Mo Gaines. Oh no, your birthday gone, I think. Shema Paul says good morning. Ava Smith, Victor Thongs, and of course CJ from New York. How is New York, CJ? Should be passing through there very soon. And Kurt Hope from Nashville, Tennessee also says good morning. All right. Those are the greetings I have on the chat.
All right. So coming in this morning, let me Laverne Edwards, good morning to you. Valerie, Miss Mendoza, good day. Kent in Laventel. Vincent Ashton, good morning. Fifi in Addis Ababa, good. Well, it's good afternoon to you now. Mahi in Columbus, Ohio. Captain Ron in retirement in Orlando. Hope you're enjoying it. Mark, Mr. Beeps out there in Pity Valley. Carlin in Carenage. Horatio, good morning to you. Mr. Billy in Powder Magazine. Ron DeSantis in Virginia. Zena is up early this morning, also in Arima. And those are all the people that I have on the WhatsApp this morning. And let me say good morning to the Gael family. All those who are watching us on Gael TV, good morning to you.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning to the Gael stream on cable TV in Trinidad and up the Caribbean. Trinidad and Tobago and up the Caribbean. Of course, this is where we go for a short break, and we'll be right back.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Devante tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
Don't miss Furniture Plus Inventory Blowout Sale. Get up to 65% off in-store and online. Enjoy massive savings on furniture, appliances, and more. Hurry, this deal won't last. Shop now and save big at Furniture Plus.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box. People can't get enough of the number one comedy of 2025. You don't need foul to watch Corn. It's now at Cipriani College on Saturday the 11th of October at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 12th at 6:30 p.m.
Dancho is real baccaral.
Tickets available now at the usual outlets and at the Cipriani College box office from Wednesday 8th of October, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily.
Don't play mad and miss this show, you know.
I see that show 3 times. Kenna is the best.
You don't need foul to watch Corn. The Bacchanal continues.
To watch Corn.
Well, we are back and Wendell is raring to go with the Express for this morning. Good morning, Wendell. And you can get to the Express.
I had it here and I don't know where it's gone.
Look fit. While you look fit, Wendell, let me say good morning to two of my good friends who I miss dearly, you know, because they had we used to have some really fantastic lunch times, you know. So let me say good morning to Corey Pascal and
I don't seem familiar. You should do a kind of acting
the president of the Slick and the Wicked.
You should do a kind of thing for Port of Spain for launch a carnival and stuff, not Wendell?
I think so. I remember that name.
Yeah.
Used to be up and down.
Was the guy used to pester you a lot?
Yeah, he used to be up and down, busy like
wasn't he, when you were in Port of, yeah, wasn't he a guy used to pester you a lot when you were in the Port of Spain City Council?
Yes, every morning.
Yeah, well, good morning to that guy.
I remember him.
And good morning to...
Corey or something to his name, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Good morning to Corey and good morning to Guylaine.
Oh, well, you see that?
Yeah.
That's the same Guylaine with Guylaine.
Good morning, Guylaine.
Yes. I think that's the same person. We've been walking with the rum box at the end of the month for Halloween.
Oh, yeah. You can remember her. I have pictures all day, Wendell.
Rich.
I have a video of you and Jay. I have a video of all you.
Yeah. So I want to say good morning to my two friends. I miss you guys dearly. Especially at lunchtime.
Charles, they threatening you.
Those you see, like those you know, it's always good to reach out to your friends to touch base and stuff. You know, we don't do that enough.
Corey, good morning, Guylaine.
GP and CP. Good morning. Anyway, the Express online stories trending today. today, October 9th, 2025. Minister, I will clear my name once again. That's Minister David Lee. Good luck with that. $1.6 million bail for duo. That's Minister David Lee and Mr. Leon Poy. Trinidad and Tobago, this is crunch time. That's football. League champs Fatima assumed lead, and some of the other stories. Dr. Indira Sajiwan appointed to the board of Central Bank. Infant girl found dead at home, casts on both feet. Mixed views on new board. That's the new, I think that's the Sport TT board, where apparently Mr. Darian Warner, well, all the rumors have been put to rest now. He is back in Trinidad. Because he has taken up a board appointment. So all the rumors about him can't come back and be in house arrest in the United States. It's clearly not true. Don Polo appointed Chief of Defense Staff. Now, that's a curious story because they have sent the Air Vice Marshal, the head of CDS, on leave. And we are still in a state of emergency. They're making some weird decisions on the national security. I don't know what's going on. And Central Bank appoints 7 directors. Those are all stories trending in today's Express. All right. Of course, First Citizens Holdings board, they have all resigned. All right. That's also another trending story. All right. So that's today's Express.
All right. So the news day for today. Let me get to the news day. The main stories: Faris, as in Faris Rawi, is ACIB reporting to the AG. Analyst, PM will decide Lee's political future. Thanks for that analysis. You know, it's like, what? Why would they put an analyst saying that? That's basic. Gonzalez wants Lee fired. UNC tornado damaging Trinidad and Tobago. Padarat on Lee's arrest. The PM has spoken. An economist, Dr. Indira Sajiwan, on Central Bank board. Senator Beg relieves trauma as Point Fortin Act Stand Your Ground law, and ex-industrial court president, now TT's High Commissioner to Jamaica. Relatives confused as Shagona's businessman gunned down in van, and Darian Warner among 12 appointed to Sport TT board. And Senator tells government explain US $600 million decline in reserves. All of this is in the Newsday today, so go get it. Over to you on the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, Sir Charles.
Thank you very much, Richard. And in the Guardian today, Kamala again backs Lee as opposition calls for him to be fired. Lee granted $1 million bail on fraud charges. He and co-accused still in hospital, absent from court hearing. Plenty stories on Lee constituents show support despite the latest situation, and government revokes appointment of Chief of Defense Staff. That's a good story. 3 more detained under SOE orders. Young urges citizens to follow EMBD case closely. TTBWA, which is the Blind Welfare Association, calls for national action to prevent blindness, and cleanup completed after tornado strikes in West Moorings. And yesterday I got another scare because I got a video from somebody telling me it had another tornado yesterday. When I opened this thing, I said, but people in Trinidad and Tobago not easy, you know. If you hear noise and all kind of thing going on in this video,
show us the video.
Yeah, see all kind of thing going on in this video. Once that noise, people screaming, all kind of, well, you know.
Chris Tusa said something like
I get real thing because I put on the video and then somebody called me or something, so I turn away, I rest on the phone, so I hearing the screams and all kind of thing going on. So when I come back, I say, well, what's going on here? Tornado.
It was nice.
Trinidadians only idle.
They're idle again?
They're very idle. Very, very idle.
So, but the issue of that story of the of the Air Vice Marshal, the Chief of Defense Staff, appointment being revoked is not a curious story. Let me try to
It is curious. It is strange.
Yeah,
It is strange. I know in the opposition press conference that they had yesterday. Is yesterday they had it? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yes.
They brought that up as an issue. But it is curious, Of course, there's a lot of moving people around under this new government, but moving the head of the defense force is, a little eye-opening. It's like, why are you moving the head of the defense force? Is it that you think he's not loyal to you or something? What is it?
Remember, the head of the regiment.
So I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah. Remember, there was a story just before the Independence Day that the head of the regiment was also sent, and then it was revoked. He was also sent on leave. The head of the regiment, right? And it was
regiment, right?
I think the same CDS sending the head of the regiment on leave, if my memory serves me right. And that sending on leave was revoked the following day, right? And it was left alone. Then we had the head of the prisons sent on leave. All of this is taking place within the context of a state of emergency. We had the police, the Minister of Homeland Security, telling senior police officers, if you all don't serve, if you all don't want to work with the Commissioner of Police, feel free to leave, resign, right? And now we have the Chief of Defense Staff also being sent, his appointment revoked. This is all curious, right? This is all curious. All of this taking place in the context of a state of emergency. Right?
But there was a story in one of the newspapers a couple of days ago, before all of this, that said that I'm trying to remember who actually put out the story. It was coming out of the Defense Force, but it said that he's going on pre-retirement leave. He has 5 months, and the government is not prepared to buy out his leave. So that's why
how the story originally came out.
Yeah, but that's what I originally thought.
Yeah, I saw that too. So
I think the same thing happened with the commissioner, with the person in the prisons also. So
yeah.
But I'm hearing of all of these other things that you're talking about, but nobody, other than the speculation part of it, nobody has any more information on it.
Yeah. Steph is saying they all serve at the pleasure of the president, but the president is serving at the pleasure of the cabinet too. It says the story reads, Captain Dan Polo has been appointed CDS, Chief of Defense Staff of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. Polo received this instrument of appointment from President Christine Kangol on Tuesday after she was advised by Defense Minister Wayne Sturge, who had consulted with Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar. That's what a release from the Defense Ministry stated. His appointments as CDS came immediately following the revocation of the appointment of Air Vice Marshal Daryl Daniel, who held the post for the past 8 years. Daniel's appointment was revoked by Kangaloo, who acted on advice received from Sturge in accordance with Section 12 of the Defense Act. The instrument of revocation as well as the instrument of appointment were both served by the Minister of Defense on the aforementioned officers shortly after 8 p.m. on Tuesday at his ministry. It added that Sturge thanked Daniel for his unprecedented 8-year stint as CDS. The decision is to bring an end to the service of Air Vice Marshal Daniel at this juncture was made after lengthy deliberations and mature consideration, and will in no way adversely affect the operational effectiveness of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force.
Yeah, and he was actually, I think, on an extension of his time also,
Who?
Yeah.
No,
I was reading one of the stories where they said that his time had, for his retirement time had passed a couple of years ago, and the last administration kept him on. because I think they said they didn't have someone to.
I saw that too, Sir Charles.
Yeah, so
he couldn't identify anybody to replace him.
Yeah, something.
That's what the story
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
I saw that. And I found that curious. That's not up to him. It's not up to the sitting CDS to decide who becomes a CDS. The army is very structured, in terms of rank and so on. Every now and then, of course, you hear a little bacchanal, but they're very structured. So,
But it doesn't stop these individuals also if they feel that they are aggrieved from speaking out, and we have not heard that.
I have known of nobody who has left those offices who speaks out after. There's a level of discipline that permeates the defense force.
And the prisons?
Yeah, well, I don't know about
the police?
Well, definitely not the police.
Well, the police get some leak information.
The police have a way of leaking the information out.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know Daryl Daniel, but I mean, he's been there for 8 years. But I knew something would have been up when the head of the regiment was being sent. An attempt was made to send him on leave, and then it was called rescinded the following day. Never a dull day in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, maybe now that the person who's in charge, I think the person who's put in charge was in charge of the Coast Guard.
Coast Guard, yes.
Right.
Captain John Polo.
Right. So maybe now we might find out what happened with the missing boats. Because they were 2 or 3 vessels that they had impounded and they could not find and had disappeared. Yes. And I think the Express had written to the very said gentleman on a number of occasions to get clarity, and the story never went anywhere.
No,
he didn't. No. I don't think he responded to them. So maybe now he might probably be able to tell us what's going on with the missing vessels. If any vessels are missing,
disconnected. I don't know. We don't know.
What a strange web we weave. Only in Trinidad and Tobago.
You see, when things are not completely transparent, it gets people speculating. Media speculates, people on the ground speculate. So if you're really into complete transparency, you just say X, Y, Z, and this is why.
Yeah.
But by and large, governments in Trinidad and Tobago feel they don't have to explain. Not only this government, the last one too. Sometimes you do things and they didn't explain because many times they don't feel that they're absolutely accountable to us.
Yeah.
And it's just like the David Lee thing. I mean, he has been rearrested, and the ethical thing to do is to step down. That's the ethical thing to do, and then clear the matter in court and then resume your position. That's the ethical thing to do. You could dance around the mulberry bush. You could say whatever you want. That's the ethical thing to do. Nothing about you being guilty. Nothing about you're presumed innocent and all of that. But because you're in a position of trust and you have a certain amount of duty to the population of Trinidad and Tobago as a minister, and because you want the highest levels of ethical performance in this post, if that's what you believe in, then you step down. And you say, okay, because I have this issue right now, I'll step down and let it be resolved in the court system. And after it's settled and you are exonerated, then you step back into your position.
But if the Prime Minister...
But of course, politics has a morality. Politics has a morality of its own, and people will dance from the mulberry bush depending on who you support. Because the PNM has been guilty of that too in the past, not making those ethical decisions quickly enough. And sometimes it's public pressure that had to be, and it shouldn't be public pressure. If our politicians really have a code of ethics and really believe in the proper administration and transparency that holds you accountable to the people who elected you and to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, you know what's the right thing to do.
Well,
so ethical behavior, you could try and dance around it. You could try and dance around it and say, oh, the Prime Minister has spoken, or this and that, and whatever it is that you want to say. There is still an ethical thing to do. Nothing to say that Mr. Lee is guilty. Absolutely not. But it's just the ethical thing to do.
Richard, and if the Prime Minister is consistent with how she operated the last time, then that is what is going to happen. You need to step aside until your name is cleared. She would have consistently had to do that last occasion, after, of course, being pressured in a lot of instances. But if she's consistent with that, then that's what Dr. Lee has to do. I don't think he has a choice, or she has a choice in this matter now. He's been arrested, re-arrested, and is facing trial because he doesn't have to be charged again. It's going straight to trial because it had already gone to trial in the magistrate's court. So it's going straight to trial in the High Court. And God alone knows when.
Now, to be fair, it was the.
Huh?
But, well, to be fair to him, to be fair to Mr. Lee, the magistrate at the time felt that there was not enough evidence, and so that no case submission, I think, was accepted.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, you know, and bringing it back again through the route that it has been done, will always raise, you know, issues, especially when somebody in high political office. But that being said, if you trust in if you trust in the judicial system and you trust in the legal system, it means you will be exonerated. But once you're before the court system on a charge of misbehavior in public office, that's one of the charges.
Yes.
So ethically, there is no reason for you to not step down. You need to step down. Just to say, look, because we, and if the UNC is serious about being different and a new era of politics, they should stand by that and say, look, it's a new era of politics. It's a new era of ethical behavior, because they talk about CPEP corruption, URP corruption, forestry corruption. All of that was corruption, 30,000 plus people on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Then hold the line.
Yeah. But Richard,
don't send home 30,000 people with something that's unproven at this point. Just your claims about ghost gangs and XYZ and 30,000 people. One committed suicide from forestry division. Let's not forget that somebody took their life because they lost the financial capacity to maintain their family.
Yeah.
So be consistent.
Yeah. Richard, I just want to add, though, that the DPP, when Dr. Lee was first charged and went before the magistrate court, he was an opposition member of parliament. There was nothing to resign from, okay? But the DPP indicated since back then, that he is going to have the matter reviewed. And if necessary, have him rearrested. He did say that back then. Now, the DPP would not have had a crystal ball to know that government would change and Dr. Lee would be a government minister today. You understand? So it's not, I think
one has to, I hear you, Wendell, and I just assume, and this is an assumption on my part, that the DPP has looked at the evidence, because the magistrate said there was not enough evidence.
Right.
So a judicial officer has looked at it and said, I don't think you have enough evidence here for a prima facie case, so I'm accepting your no case submission, which is what I believe happened. So for you to bring it back up, you better have the evidence to bring it back up again, and take it before a judge and trial or whatever.
Which is what he did immediately.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, and what I'm saying is that review better have had justified the route you're taking, because it is somebody in high political office and there's a consequence to that.
Yeah. Well, a judge would have ruled on it.
So I'm just saying, and I'm saying, well, a judge is going to decide.
Yeah.
A judge is ultimately going to decide. And so that's what I'm saying. Mr. Lee, let it not be said, is presumed innocent. Okay? He's presumed innocent until proven guilty. So it is nothing about Mr. Lee being guilty at all. It's just about ethical behavior in the corridors of power, which the PNM has sometimes lapsed and done the same thing. And if the UNC is holding themselves to a new level of transparent politics, then you are falling short.
All right, guys, let's open the lines. Let's take a couple calls as we go up to 7 o'clock. 281-1315 and 299-5156. Before we get into the poll, we can take a couple of your calls, people. Good morning to you, caller.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
All valid points by you, gentlemen. But you know what? What I would ask people to cast their mind to concerning the David Lee issue. You what transpired in the UK last month. He's a deputy political leader, right? He could be appointed acting prime minister. Angela Rayner was the second to Keir Starmer.
Yes.
She acted as prime minister. She was a deputy political leader of the Labour Party. What did she do? She bought a property and paid the wrong stamp duty. It was reported to the body that oversees the ethical conduct of all parliamentarians and more so senior members of government. And that body said yes. She fell short of what is expected of her, and her excuse was that she left that in the hands of somebody else and they were responsible. And the body said, no, ma'am, no, not for the position you hold. And where is she now? She's a backbencher among the 600 and something members of parliament that were elected in the Labour sweep last year. And I'm saying, this is a prime minister who tells us consistently that the reason why they will not accede to the jurisdiction of the Caribbean Court of Justice is because she believes that the highest ethical standards and judicial care exists in the Privy Council in England. So therefore, if you subscribe to what all that the Westminster system ascribes to, then you should do the right thing and call on the gentleman to step aside and clear his name. Because they did the same to Jack Warner. They said, clear your name and stand down. She read out all his malfeasance in the parliament. Right? And I am satisfied that the judicial officer who had went before looked at the totality of all the evidence gathered by not just the police, but what was referred to by the DPP as his remit in law to do, and was satisfied that a prima facie case has been made out. And the quantum of bail should indicate to us how serious the judicial officer took those charges. So it's only one road to travel. If we seriously in this business, and as you rightly said, Mr. Raghubasan, if they want to see their new dispensation and they are against corruption, as the Prime Minister in her own words said, this is a different Kamala. Show us. Thank you for the opportunity, gentlemen.
Thanks, sir. Thanks. Yeah. I mean,
thanks very much, caller. We have another caller coming in. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sir Charles.
Morning, Zena.
Morning to Richard and Wendell.
Morning, Zena.
Right, again to the powder posse. Morning. Listen, Sir Charles, you didn't read that other part of my message this morning, and that was before you said Corey and Gillan. I asked you to shout out Steve and mi amor Pablo. Right. So I'm beating you up for not reading up your message on that any
okay, no
live.
problem. Okay, good.
Right. So I hear you shout out Korean thing, but I sent it to you long before that. So I don't want people to feel because I hear shout out Korean Gillan and saying that now. So you're bad.
No problem.
But Richard, I agree with everything you said this morning except one sentence you made. You cannot put those people and equal them to the PNM. Dr. Rowley stated that he would stand no kind of misbehavior like that under his government from the time he came in. And look at what he did with Miss McDonald. He didn't keep her there and decide and people had to pressure him to think. No, he did what he thought was the best thing to do. So he did not together in that field at all. PNM holds a different standard.
Zena, PNM has been there for 56 years. They have not always acted ethically. The PNM didn't begin with Dr. Rowley, you know.
And what about Mr. Manning with Franklin
The
Cannon?
PNM did not always behave ethically. Come on.
Oh man, Richard, you're being unfair this morning.
Come on.
All right.
History speaks for itself. Come on.
That was your view.
I didn't say Dr. Rowley's tenure. I said the PNM has a history where ethical misbehavior has occurred.
Or you went way back to the beginning of time.
Beginning of time? Well, the PNM is the PNM. All they always like to boast, all the biggest party, all they're there the longest.
Yeah, well, I don't care if you want to feel a shout, you can shout out at me, you know, my mouth just as big. But I disagree with that.
Okay,
but you have to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
So I don't have business.
Okay, but
thanks very much. Yeah.
Richard, Derek Billion is actually asking a question that I thought of asking you, you know. But I say, see me, I ain't taking no both this morning. Give us an example when something like that happened and the PNM never acted.
Oh, you might make that.
Well, wait, let's take the call. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, go and look at the history of
Morning.
So Charles Wendell.
Yes.
I want to know in relation to the situation where the one doctor is stepped down. I want to know from you all what is the position with Dr. Moonilal and Gordon John, who have mattered before the court. What should be done with them? Should they just be allowed to continue as if Vietnam, or should they take the same option of the release? What do you think? I'll just know here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the UNC answered that question already. They put them back up as candidates in an election, even though those charges were there. And they've won the seat, and today they are government ministers. How it's going to be treated with eventually, we'll find out. You know, all it doesn't. I tired of Trinidad. I don't know.
Once you are facing the court, yeah, it is tiring, Wendell. Once you're facing criminal charges before the court system of Trinidad and Tobago, you need to step down.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about no civil matter. Civil matter is a civil matter.
Yeah.
But if you are facing the court on criminal charges, you should step down from office. That's just the ethical thing to do.
Yeah.
Nobody have to pressure you to do that. Just know, okay, let me step down, and when my name is cleared, then I'll step back. Now, the problem with Trinidad and Tobago, of course, is when will your matter be heard?
Yeah.
In the court system.
That is a serious part of the thing. But then you're looking at ethics. Which one trumps ethics or what the law allows?
I don't understand what you mean by that.
Because if the parliamentary rules or the law says that here going on so and so is the case, if you have so and so you can't do so and so, it might probably make people have to step down. But if the law allows them to do certain things, they will do it.
You mean we should legislate it?
Well, I'm not saying if we should, but I'm just saying because of the fact that morality doesn't really, people don't hold that in this country in that kind of way to say, look, here one, this is my morals tell me I should step down. Morality, and if the law says no, I could continue, they will continue, and that is the way it happens in this country.
Yeah. Anyway, our poll is up. Sorry, our poll is up, people.
Yeah.
Should the government clear the air on the revocation of the Chief of Defense Staff? All right. His appointment was revoked, as I read earlier on, by the President on advice from the Minister of Defense, who spoke with the Prime Minister. So should the government clear the air on the revocation of the Chief of Defense Staff? Yes or no? That's our poll. So you have the whole of the time when Derek is doing the news to vote on it. All right. And vote yes or no at the beginning of your comment, please. All right? And we'll get back into discussion today. We don't have a stated guest today, so guess what? Today you might be our guest. You all, right? Take care. Bye-bye.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio and Guile Caribbean. I'm Derek. Housing Minister and Caroni Central MP David Lee has been granted $1 million bail by the High Court. Lee and firearms dealer Hugh Leong Poi were rearrested on October 7th, months after fraud charges against them were dismissed. The charges relate to alleged abuse of a tax exemption for parliamentarians on a luxury Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG vehicle. Both men appeared before Master Lisa Singh Phillip on October 8th. Lee was granted $1 million bail with a surety, while Leong Poi received $600,000 bail. The arrests followed instructions from DPP Roger Gaspard under Section 23(5) of the Indictable Offences Act, which allows previously dismissed matters to be reinstated once a judge reviews the evidence. The Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago has appointed 7 new non-executive directors to its board, effective September 12, 2025, for a 3-year term. The new appointees are Dr. Anne-Marie Mohammed, Anne-Marie Mativier Hernandez, Dr. Indira Sejwan, Mahindra Maharaj, Ralston Singh, Dr. Trisha Parali, and Vijanti Behari. They will join current board members Joel Jack, Kern Gardner, Lorraine Ferguson, Richard Duncan, Professor Surendra Arjun, Suzette Taylor Lee Chi, and Terrence Walker. A new board has been elected for the First Citizens Group following a special general meeting at the National Academy for the Performing Arts in Port of Spain on October 8th. The new board members are Joanne Budasingh, Javan Lewis, Prakash Donraj, Shankar Bidasi, Dr. Sterling Frost, Christelle Smith, Sandy Roop Chand, Nichelle Granderson, and Tricia McNeil Beckles. Shankar Bidasi, who also chairs Udicott and First Citizens Holdings Limited, was elected chairman of the group's board, while Lindy J. Balatol was named corporate secretary. Acting CEO Jason Julian continues to lead the group. CEO Karen Darbasi remains on administrative leave ahead of her retirement on October 20. Captain Don Polo has been appointed the new Chief of Defense Staff of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. He received his instrument of appointment from President Christine Kangaloo on Tuesday, following advice from Defense Minister Wayne Sturge, who consulted with Prime Minister Kamala Persad Bissessar. Polo's appointment came immediately after the revocation of Air Vice Marshal Daryl Daniels' tenure, which ended his 8-year term as Chief of Defense Staff. The instruments of revocation and appointment were served to both men shortly after 8 p.m. at the Ministry of Defense's Temple Court office. Minister Sturge thanked Daniel for his dedicated service, saying the change would not affect the force's operations. Before his promotion, Polo served as commanding officer of the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard. Police are investigating the death of a 1-year and 8-month-old girl found unresponsive at her home in Low-Key Trace, Penal, early Tuesday morning. Officers responded around 5 a.m. and met 60-year-old Geeta Mahadeo, who had been caring for the child, Chelsea Singh. Mahadeo said her daughter left Chelsea and 2 other children in her care over the weekend. Chelsea developed a mild fever Monday evening and was given tea around 11:30 p.m., but refused to drink. She was placed to sleep on a mattress in the living room and later found unresponsive around 3 a.m. Paramedics were called but were unable to revive her. Police say there were no visible signs of violence, and Chelsea was found wearing diapers with casts on both feet. Police are investigating the death of 41-year-old inmate Rafi Muhammad, who was found unresponsive in his cell at the maximum security prison in Aruca early Tuesday morning. Officers said Muhammad, of LaFortune Jackson Place, Woodland, was discovered around 5:30 a.m. in cell number 99. He was taken to the prison infirmary. then to the Arima Health Facility, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Reports indicate Muhammad had overdosed on metformin pills last week and was treated at Mount Hope Hospital before being returned to the prison on Monday. Metformin is commonly used to treat type 2 diabetes, but in large doses can cause serious health complications or death. In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump says a peace deal to end the Gaza war is very close, following 3 days of indirect talks between Israel and Hamas in Egypt. A Palestinian official told the BBC that mediators from Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey made good progress, especially on prisoner exchange lists and guarantees to prevent renewed fighting. Trump received a note during a White House event from Secretary of State Marco Rubio, informing him of the breakthrough. He later said he may travel to the region on Friday. The talks in Sharm el-Sheikh focus on the first phase of Trump's 20-point peace plan, including a ceasefire, release of all hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners, and partial Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. Despite optimism, officials say disagreements remain over withdrawal maps and the timeline for prisoner exchanges. And that's news at this time.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
We are the heartbeat of the Caribbean, where the music never stops. New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Test drive now.
She
Wake up with the Net Radio Breakfast Show. Rise and shine with Wendell Stevens and Richard Raghuvarsing, weekdays, from 6 o'clock to 9 a.m.
Yeah. We are swinging engine inside of our number 2 right here on New Era TT Radio. Good morning to you if you're just joining us. Yeah, 1 hour down. But trust me, there is so much more for you here on this network. And of course, it is New Era TT Radio. And we are streaming all day, every day. NewEraTTRadio.com, New Era TT Radio on TuneIn. Get us on your Alexa and, of course, all of your Google devices, right? And of course, when you go to the platforms, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the support button because we really appreciate and need your support. And of course, when we come off of the feed at Gael, remember you can also get us all day at NewEraTTRadio.com. Right? So continue to vote on the poll, yes or no first, and then put in any other comments, right? We will be back shortly.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davantry tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
Don't miss Furniture Plus Inventory Blowout Sale. Get up to 65% off in-store and online. Enjoy massive savings on furniture, appliances, and more. Hurry, this deal won't last. Shop now and save big at Furniture Plus.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
People can't get enough of the number 1 comedy of 2025. You don't need file to watch Corn. It's now at Cipriani College on Saturday the 11th of October at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 12th at 6:30 p.m.
Dancho is real baccaral.
Tickets available now at the usual outlets and at the Cipriani College box office from Wednesday 8th of October, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily.
Don't play mad and miss this show, you know.
I see that show 3 times. Kenna is the best.
You don't need file to watch Corn. The Bacchanal continues.
To watch Corn.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
Okay.
After you make it bacchanal gone, can I give you one example about the PNM?
Yeah. The PNM have a spotless white sheet, you know what I mean? That's all right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Under Patrick Manning and Dr. Rowley, of course it's spotless. Everybody who had an issue had to go. And even those who didn't.
Yeah, man. Don't worry.
I'll let you come back. Let me do talk after.
Oh, hi, good morning. I mean, we're back. I didn't realize you were back yet, no? I know, so.
Yeah.
All right, so we have the poll results.
Yes, whenever you're ready, sir.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I guess that's a yes. All right. Should the government clear the air on the revocation of the chief of defense staff? And we're gonna get Gary Griffith to weigh in on this in a bit, in a short, right? In the interest of transparency, yes. David McCarthy, yes. James Kamau, yes. Rena Jennings, yes. They need to clear the air. San Kofa didn't vote. Michael Oliver, yes. Slick Money Grip, yes. Southern Alexa Nubian Empress. Who is this? She attacked whoever it is on your case, boy, Richard. It's a new name though. Marlon Motley, yes. Ava Smith, yes. Miguel Gonzalez, yes. Dr. Rowley made it quite clear when he came in government. He said you are on your own if found in corruption. But Florence didn't vote. Gregory Boyer, yes. Well, she voted now. Florence says yes. Derek Billion, yes. Margaret Thomas, yes. Alistair Hart, yes. Southern Nubian Empress, I'll just call you Empress from now on. Yes, they must clear the air. Beauty Culture, yes. Eunice Dublin, yes. Edwin Joseph, yes, I believe so. Cheryl M says yes. Marlene Saunders Sobers, yes. Suzanne Jessup, yes. Carol Guevara says yes, I certainly need clarification. Far Rockaway consistently no. Far Rockaway a real defender, boy.
Wait, Wendell. Is he the first no?
Yes, that's the first no. Yeah. He might be the only no too.
Oh,
you know how he ain't care. He just stand alone when he ready, you know.
Okay, no, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if I missed one.
No, you didn't miss any. David McCarthy says yes in the interest of transparency. Sankofa says yes. Cheryl Henry also says yes. Colted Finch, yes to the poll. Kamala must go. That's not the poll, Colted. We'll get to there eventually. Michael Robinson says yes. Andre Reno says yes. Joyce Philip, hell yes. Michael Cadet, yes. Classic Brother, yes. Diane Payne, yes. Birthday girl. Apollinaris says yes. DL says yes for transparency's sake. Well, that's a hard yes to get out of DS this morning. DL, sorry. A hard yes come out of here this morning. I know you must be feeling the pinch of that yes. Wayne Joseph says yes. Helen Prescott, yeah. Laughing. Bernadette Yates, yes. Derek Billion say you went to do your research. That's why you come back late after the news, Richard. Ron DeSantis Jr. says yes. Magic says yes, please. Suzette Jessup says yes. Ann Noel, yes. Carla Hercules, yes. Esther Lisa Sampson speaking from across the Orinoco says CCC. Morgans says yes. Andre says yes. They should also explain why he was given 2 extensions beyond his retirement. Well, okay. Well, who did it? I think the cabinet is allowed to do that, eh? Yes, from Ingrid in Tucson.
I guess they would be able to.
Yeah, they've done it with police commissioners too, eh? GH says yes. Kenny in Harlem, yes. Sherwin Kerr, yes. Jason Samuel says he overstayed his mandate. I don't know what that means. And Maya Halley, who's voting for the very first time on this show, says yes. All right.
All right. So on the
how you can overstay a mandate?
I don't understand. Yeah, you can't overstay a mandate.
You just is your personal company that you just decide.
Yeah.
I stayed on there. Yes, nobody can move there. It has to be somebody approved you there.
Exactly. I have 2 more votes quickly before I get into Sir Charles. Felix Kazo, yes. And Rambuta says yes.
All right. So Judith in Mount St. George says yes. Sexy Reds says yes. Frank says yes. Junior says yes. Kurt says yes. Sean Ram says no. Terry Ann didn't vote. Zena says yes. Laverne says yes. Captain Ron says yes. Mahi says yes. Dabidi says yes. Horatio says yes. And that is it for the WhatsApp.
And Stellar Services also says
Any late ones, Wendell?
Stellar Services also says yes. Just one more vote.
Oh, and
We're
and
closing
one
off the votes there, folks.
and one more yes from Raymond here. We came in very late. Thanks, Raymond.
That's it?
That is it. Poll is closed.
Should the government clear the air on the revocation of the Chief of Defense Staff? We had 65 people voting in the allotted time. Of the 65 people voting in the allotted time. What's that?
I said we're getting closer to the 72.
Oh, okay. So 65 people voted in the allotted time, and of the 65, 63 of you said yes, and 2 of you said no. I'm assuming I got the no's right.
Yes, it's 2.
I think it's 2 no's.
You didn't get the history of the PNM right, but you got this right.
Hey, what's this PNM?
So Wendell, who said all of we thief? The UNC.
Nice boy. You know, half the people know. All of the thief meant when you go to the office and you pick up the pencil and you carry it home or the toilet paper. That is what the man mean. Or you spin that body. Or the wicked one. Or the NL people that they wicked.
All right.
Good.
You're right. Right. 63 said yes and 2 said no.
All right, Wendell. All right.
That's it for the end of the poll this morning. The poll is now done.
I'm sure your grandfather tell you that. You probably don't remember that.
What's that?
When Desmond McCarthy made that statement. Desmond McCarthy made that statement. What he was referring to.
That's
all of
not-
it. Anyway, so Charles has a rant before we bring in Gary Griffith. We get Gary Griffith.
No, I will hold the rant because I'm always interested in having this guest inside. So he's here also. So
we have Gary. I didn't realize we had Gary.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let Richard introduce him.
Just now.
Yeah. So let's bring it in.
Yeah.
What do you have on?
Gary.
What does he
It's
have
all
on?
that is here.
What, is
Gary
that a
Griffith.
camouflage
Good
outfit,
morning.
Gary Griffith?
I am in Miami, so you can't rest me. I could wear camouflage. Because when you have backward country, you could feel like if you have a camouflage toy, you can arrest the child. Only a banana republic like Trinidad and Tobago. The only country in the world that if you have a camouflage underwear, you could get arrested. If you have a pink camouflage toy, banana republic. Good morning to everybody.
Put him in his place. Put him in his place. He start attacking you as soon as you come on, Gary. He start
A child with a blue camouflage fire truck, you will arrest the parent for the child having that because that's a threat to national security. And not one government in the last 20 years was mature enough to move that law. So I come in Miami to wear my camouflage.
Well, you want to take part in the blame for that?
Is
too,
it
no?
still
No,
in
I
there?
actually drafted it. I drafted it. I made the change. It was sent to cabinet, and your minister Eddie Dillon said that wasn't important, and he moved it. And then when I was commissioner of police, because the customs were getting the same problems, foreigners were coming in and can't believe Trinidad is such a banana republic that if you have a yellow camouflage shoe, that is a threat to national security, it must be confiscated and he must be arrested. And your prime minister said that's not important to be amended. Good morning, everyone.
So it was never amended? In my mind, I thought it was. So it was never done.
Nope. When you enter in the airport, you will see that if you have a pink camouflage toy, a yellow camouflage underwear, you could get arrested because that's a threat to national security. Dotish people.
Yeah. Well, I don't disagree with you. That's dotish.
I'm going to challenge that. Next time I travel, I'm going to come in with a camouflage thing. I'm going to challenge that.
You will be stopped. You see, in fairness to the customs, they made, when they was drafted, the Defense Act Chapter 1401 has a law that says that you cannot have the resemblance of camouflage because you could imitate a soldier. So there are 7 odd countries in the world that have that law: Jamaica, St. Lucia, Barbados. You could understand that. But there was a misinterpretation of that act where they felt that anything that's camouflage is illegal. The laws are made not to inconvenience people, but to protect people. So if you have a yellow camouflage toy, how could that be a threat to national security? But somebody misinterpreted the Defense Act and put a Customs Act to say that anything that is... So we are the only country in the world that any single thing that's camouflage is a crime.
Yeah.
And that is something that you try to get rid of. And now, how long yet you feel before we will get back to that again to deal with that situation?
Well, it is just as a stroke of a pen. I sent it to cabinet. It was drafted. It was just go to parliament to have it amended. Eddie Dillon removed it after I did the handover to him, and then the PNM government, when I sent it to them, because customs, they go through hell. Foreigners come and they can't believe we are so backward that if I have a yellow camouflage shoelace, it is going to be a crime, and I'm going to be confiscated. It's going to be confiscated, and I'm going to be arrested. So the customs officers are put in a dilemma because foreigners all over the world can't believe we're so backward. And all government ministers continue for the last few decades. I was the only one who tried to get it amended, and it was stopped.
Yeah, that's foolish. So, Richard, finally, you have something on the PNM government. It was absolutely ridiculous of the PNM to not fix that. Absolutely. I said it. All right. So, Gary, our poll this morning is: should the government?
I didn't hear what you just said there.
Should the government clear the air on the revocation of the appointment of the Chief of Defense Staff? Ooh, is my internet messing up so bad? No, it's Gary.
Gary, are you frozen?
He in some cheap hotel. Them hotel.
And Brandon, you're breaking up badly to me. I don't know if
we're not hearing him at all. He's frozen.
Brandon, you're breaking up badly to me. I don't know if is he breaking up badly to you, Sir Charles?
Sir Charles, like he gone completely.
Okay, I don't know what's going on.
All right. I think Gary having problem with his internet.
So maybe, well, he's still there, you know. Oh, he's back. Let me see.
All right.
Yeah, Gary. Oh, he is back.
I'm backstage.
No, you're on.
Yeah, you hear me now?
You're on here, guys.
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Okay.
So I think Wendell was asking you the question about the issue, the subject of our poll this morning. Should the government clear the air on well, should I say removal? Let me quote exactly what we asked them before
revocation of the appointment.
Yeah. Should the government clear the air on the revocation of the Chief of Defense Staff?
Well, from a diplomatic perspective, maybe the answer is yes, but it is not mandatory. And I can go back to history. If you go back to probably the best Chief of Defense Staff the country ever had, I don't know who you all will decide that being, and it's nothing against all the others, but that I would put that as Brigadier Carl Alfonso. And Brigadier Carl Alfonso was number 4 or 5 in the seniority list when he was appointed as Chief of Defense Staff. I think Commodore Franklin, Admiral Kelshaw, Vidal, all of them were senior to Alfonso. And Alfonso was selected by the PNM government, by the way. I think Russell Huggins was the Minister of National Security. And he was appointed as the Chief of Defense Staff. So it is really at the decision of the sitting government who they would want to see as the person who would be in command of the armed forces of Trinidad and Tobago. We have something as the president being the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. That is cosmetic. He or she has absolutely no power or authority operationally. He or she can't give a directive to the defense force. It is really the prime minister as the chair of the National Security Council. So they will make the recommendation. And I think that is what has been done here. And in the same manner, just to educate the public, Daryl Daniel, who's my batch, both of us joined at the same time in 1988. We did a military training abroad at the same time in 1989. I went to Sandhurst and he went to Dartmouth. So he is well trained. And he got an extension as Chief of Defense Staff by the PNM, and no one complained because the cutoff date for Chief of Defense Staff at the rank of whether it be Rear Admiral, Brigadier or Major General, or Air Marshal, which is Daryl Daniel, is 55, and he got 2 extensions by the government, which again they have the authority to do. And no one said anything. So it is really how the government feels that person may be the best fit at this time to lead the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. It may be at this time that this present government believes that because of the situation of national security, it may be that they believe that someone who is in command of the Coast Guard that they believe that they need that person with that type of leadership skill because of the situations that will be arising in Trinidad and Tobago, more as it pertains to border protection, Venezuela. I can't speak on behalf of the government, but yeah, it may be fitting that they do it, but it is not mandatory. It is done all over the world. The government selects whoever leads the armed forces.
So you don't think there's anything unusual about that revocation?
Well, I think it was overdue because, again, going back to when I drafted that Ministry of Defense, I drafted that since 2010 for Kamala Prasad Bisesta to deal with the many irregularities we have in Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. I don't know if you all are aware that over 90% of the personnel who retire from the Defense Force, they retire at the age of 47. Now, that is madness. It means that when you are 47, you have now gone through just about half of your employment life. And now you're out there, and probably if you're in Coast Guard, you have opportunities to be an engineer or mechanic or whatever. But if you're in the Army, what are your options at 47 to be a security guard? And it was really so one of the things was to extend the period of persons that you're not going to retire at 47. So the vast majority retire at 47. As a military officer, you retire at 50 unless you reach the rank of colonel, which is just about a handful, and then you go on to 55. So those are the things that need changing. And because of that, the PNM said, look, this man is 55. We think he's doing a pretty good job based on our standard, and we want to extend him. And he got an extension on 2 occasions, and there was no demand to justify what was the reason for it. It is really the view of the chair of the National Security Council who believes that this person is the best fit. And they may believe that Don Polo may have the temperament, the personality, the leadership that is required to lead the Defense Force through these very soon to be trying times.
You said that the retirement age is 47, and in certain circumstances it goes up to 50 and then 55. What would be the comparative years of retirement in other jurisdictions? Would you have a sense of that?
Yeah, I mean, I did the research as Minister of National Security. I did the draft, have it amended, and yet again, Eddie Dillon put it on his side. The vast majority of our Commonwealth countries, the retirement age is in your 50s. So it was something that we had that was incorrect because you have to retire at 47 unless you reach the rank of, I think, Sergeant Major. These are the other ranks. So like 90% of persons in the Defense Force of the 5,000 odd, probably about 4,700 would be other ranks. That's the rank of Private, Lance Corporal, Corporal, Sergeant, Staff Sergeant, Sergeant Major, Force Sergeant Major. And unless you reach that Sergeant Major rank, then you have to retire at 47. I don't know if they change it to Staff Sergeant. So that's just going to be a handful to 50. That's the other ranks. As it pertains to commissioned officers who are persons like myself who would have gone and bypassed those ranks to get to second lieutenant, then captain, then move into major, colonel, and then brigadier general. You retire at 47 unless you reach the rank of 50 unless you reach the rank of colonel, and very few reach the rank of colonel. So had I remained in the Defense Force, I would have been on par with Darrell Daniel. I may have been Chief of Defense Staff as well, but I decided in a very foolish manner to go into politics. So, but you go at 55 is when you cut off, and that 55 is only between 50 and 55 is only for that person in that rank of full colonel or brigadier general. And just to clarify again, they're hearing Captain Polo. You say, no, he's a captain. The captain in the Navy is not equivalent to a captain in the Army. So he and I didn't have the same rank. I left very early, just as similar to you'd have seen like Ronald Reagan, John F. Kennedy, Bush, and where a lot of persons would leave the military at that rank of lieutenant, captain, major to go into politics. So the captain rank in the Coast Guard equates with that of a colonel in the Army. So, but that is a rank that leads the Army, and the captain leads the Coast Guard. So what is expected, which is what should have been done, I thought that he should have been promoted before or simultaneously to be promoted to the Chief of Defense Staff, because the Chief of Defense Staff, that rank for that person to be Chief of Defense Staff equates with, if you're in the Air Guard, then you'll be Air Marshal, as Darrell Daniel was. Mm-hmm. If you were in the Army, then you would be Brigadier or Major General, as Eddie Dillon would have been, and Carl Alfonso, for example. If you were in the Navy, then previously it would have been like Commodore Franklin and Commodore Mervyn Williams, or Rear Admiral Hayden Pritchard. Then you had Rear Admiral Kelshaw, who wasn't a chief of defense staff, but he had that rank. So it is expected that he's supposed. You can't keep that same rank as captain because that equates to being commanding officer of the Coast Guard. So if anything that the government, I would recommend strongly, is that he needs to be promoted because he will now have equivalent rank to the commanding officer of the regiment.
Yeah, I hear you on that. But what about the fact that this is all happening during the state of emergency, Gary? Is that unusual?
Well, yeah, I think it's a first because we've had very few states of emergencies other than arresting a House Speaker. Then you had one with COVID, then you had one to reduce crime. We've had very few states of emergencies. So the period when you have these states of emergencies, it will not happen. I think the period with Ralph Brown and Joe Theodore, I think that was just after the coup when there was that transition from ministers, from chiefs of defense staff. And that was because the runout date was there. And you had the runout date, so the person immediately left. So there would be periods where if the person is 55 and there's a state of emergency and we think there's a crisis period and you do not want that transition because it may cause instability in the armed forces, the government has the right to say, you hold on. And that is what they did with Darrell Daniel. He got 2 extensions. He went over the age limit of 55, so he went on to 57 or 58 or something like that, I think, or 57. So he got 2 extensions. And you know what the strange is that no one has asked, why did he get an extension? Now, the disadvantage to this, when the person gets an extension, it may cause stoppage and it may deprive others of their rightful opportunity to be chief of defense staff. I remembered somebody who I thought would have been probably one of the best chiefs of defense staff that did not get that opportunity was Anthony Philip Spencer. I actually recommended before I was commissioner. I was having little chats with the prime minister on the side, and I said, this man, I worked with him. I was his right hand. He and I were both AD-cars to His Excellency President Robinson. So he actually trained me out well, and both of us were also military attaches to Carl Alfonso. And I thought he would have been an ideal choice. He was not. He lost that opportunity because of, guess what? Accumulated leave. Because he was so good, he didn't have the opportunity to go on leave. So he had about 2 years leave, and I think the government said, you have too much leave. You need to retire, and we'll make you an ambassador in Washington. And I think he did a pretty good job there as well. Do
you believe it has anything to do with the fact that a couple months ago, the head of the regiment was sent on leave, and then his leave was revoked the following day, and the fact that we now have an issue with some missing vessels and so on. Do you think that the revocation of Darrell Daniel has anything to do with those incidents?
It may package all of that. Remember, he who has that crown, you will have the responsibility. You are the person that will be held responsible, whether it is vessels missing, whether it is a situation. You'll recall the recent ruling by, I think it was Justice C. Prasad, where he actually scolded Darrell Daniel for decisions made where he promoted 2 persons to the rank of commanding officer of the regiment and bypassed others, and he didn't give proper justification. He claimed because he didn't do their annual assessments properly and blah, blah, blah. So all of these things could all be packaged. I think it will not be befitting for someone to be a chief of defense staff having served their country for 30 plus years to end their career being smeared by this, because people will look and realize that you could criticize commissioners and ministers and ambassadors, but when you have that responsibility, poor Darrell, you are going to be blamed because some slack sailors allowed some people to paint and refurbish boats that were seized, but you have to get that. You're going to be blamed for it. The promotion of the persons who were bypassed, and he was held responsible by the court. This may all be part of it. Why bother to smear the person's character? Listen, you served well for 30-something years. It is time for you to. You got a 2-year extension. We don't think it was appropriate because it was holding back other persons who should have had the opportunity to have been promoted to chief of defense staff, rightfully so. So with all of that, that may very well be the reason. But why bother to go in there to show all of the irregularities that the government may now see that may cause the sparing of the good name of someone?
The record of the officer. I'd forgotten about that court case actually, and so since you brought it up, I'd forgotten about that issue, that may or may not have played a part in the revocation. But as we have here, Gary, just to talk some police matters, the issue of police killings and of course statistically they have increased under the state of emergency and certainly under the tenure of the new commissioner of the police. Do you find it concerning, or you see nothing concerning about that?
Well, I remember it started under my watch where I was criticized. I think it is amazing that many persons in this country, they are more concerned about the rights of the criminal elements than law-abiding citizens. It reminds me so much of this old talk about two people who fell off a chair. And people were more concerned about two men falling off a chair than these same two men having raped 63 women and being given bail to go back out to rape and kill a lady, and no one says anything. And this is not to say that it gives any right for extrajudicial killings. Not at all. You have to go through the proper process, especially if you're in the protective services. Anytime there's any perception other than that, people believe it's a police state, and we will lose a lot of international respect. We could be blacklisted, red flagged by our international allies if at any time it is perceived that we are going above and beyond the rule of law. But at this time, there's absolutely nothing to justify that what is being done, that the police are going out of their way and targeting persons to have them assassinated. Because there's an increase does not necessarily mean that there's been a call to target persons and have them shot. It can very well be that the criminal elements have upped their game and have taken the decision that they are going to now target police officers. And if persons shoot at police officers, the police officers must be forced to shoot back. I recall in 2018 when I was commissioner, there was a situation in Chaguanas for 3 hours. Gangs were shooting at each other in certain streets and the police did not go there. When I took over, I asked why. They said, so we are not protected by our seniors. If we draw our weapon, we are going to have to face the music. And I said, I am going to protect you if it is to do the right thing. That's why I went off with that one shot, one kill. There was this perception that police officers must shoot your arm or your leg. No, I said head or chest, neutralize the enemy before they kill you. So it could all very well be that the criminal elements, if they shoot at the police officers have a right to shoot back. Having said all of this, what is unacceptable is the fact that I realize what is required to take away this old talk from those persons who are sympathetic to criminal elements. Just get the bloody body cameras and put them on. With the body cameras, it eliminates all of this rumshop talk. And I got the body cameras. I got 1,200 body cameras. You do not need 7,000 body cameras for every police officer. An issue is not required. I did the research because the Minister of Finance refused to give me funds every 6 months or every fiscal year. So I had to run a police service without money. And when I realized, okay, 1,200 body cameras meant putting 50 body cameras in every police station, plus given to GB, IATF, and so forth. And because not every police officer is on an operation at the same time, I put a departmental order. It was a standard operational procedure. If at any time any police officer goes on a roadblock, a patrol, to give out a warrant, an operation, you must sign for the body camera and have it turned on. Failure for you to do that, you will be immediately suspended. Since then, it meant that every single police killing or shooting, the body camera is not worn. These officers are supposed to be disciplined. They are not. They are breaching the standing orders. And that is where the problem lies. And I had to educate the police to realize I am giving you the body cameras not to target you, but to show that you will be protected by when it is the lady in the towel balling, only too wicked. It could show, hey, look, these people were shooting at me and I was left with no choice. That is why the body camera should be worn. And if it is an issue, it means that it must be returned, and then we were checking it if it to be signed for. If you give it as a personal issue, they're going to keep it home and not use it. So that is the one issue. You get the body, and you do not need, as I said, 7,000 body cameras. I got these body cameras at about $2,500 per body camera from qualified international persons who are accustomed doing it. All of a sudden, a new chief of defense staff comes up and gets body cameras for $8,000 from a company that nobody knows about, which is a $50 million markup, which is why I applaud the Minister of Homeland Security for putting an end to that decision. And because people say, oh my God.
You mean a new commissioner of police?
Pardon?
You meant a new commissioner of police?
Commissioner of police, yeah.
No. The Minister of but the Minister of Homeland Security, was the
no. You had said Chief of Defense Staff.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So into the CDS, the Commissioner of Police. So you decide now to go and get a company that nobody knows about, and you put a markup of $8,000 instead of $2,500, which was $14 million net profit somebody was making. So the Minister of Homeland Security was right to stop that, but it does not prevent the present situation The number of body cameras we have is more than efficient. Anytime you're going on a roadblock or patrol, you sign for it, you put it on, you turn it on, and then when you leave, you send it. And then we would check in to realize, listen, you are on a patrol for 2 hours in St. James, the body camera was not turned on. Why? That is the control. So you put deterrents, you put consequences, you make them accountable. Why?
You know what I think, Gary? You know what I think? I think the TTPS need to issue a statement, or the government, that listen, we are not using body cameras. Don't ask us anything about it again. It's not going to happen. That's the statement they need to issue.
And that is where certain officers fear change. It took me a while for them to understand the use of the tasers, the pepper spray, the body cameras. It is there to help you, to protect you. It was an issue for anyone again. Before you go on a roadblock or patrol, you had the pepper spray, you had the tasers. That will prevent somebody who may be unstable coming and challenging a police officer with a piece of wood. You don't need to shoot them. You use the tasers. That minimizes the police shootings. But the tasers have now gone back in the shelf. The pepper spray have gone in the shelf. The body cameras are not being used. And I left a departmental order making it mandatory that you must carry it. And there's enough. As I said, 1,200. You don't have 1,200 police officers on operation simultaneously. That is all you need. So this old talk of waiting to get one issued for each officer, that is nonsense. It is there, it could be used, and they are refusing to enforce the departmental order. But having said that, it must not be seen that the police officers are deliberately going out of their way to shoot at persons. There's absolutely no evidence to show that.
But I think Wendell is right, that obviously there is a reluctance from the TTPS to implement body cameras. I'm talking post you, Gary. I mean, even under your remit, I think there was probably some reluctance, but certainly post you, there seems to be a reluctance to be that transparent in terms of having body cams on officers on field duty or whatever specific duty that they're supposed to wear it. There's obviously a resistance.
Yeah, but it starts at the top. If you're the commissioner and you put a departmental order, whether you like it or not, I will suspend you without pay or half pay. So you go ahead and not wear it. So this is not an option. Having said that, I didn't want to shove it down their throats, and that's why I did a heavy being able to massage it for them to understand this is here to protect you so that you will not be wrongfully accused. If you decide to just shoot someone without due process and outside of the minimum use of force policy, well then by right, you should be arrested. So what is the issue? There's absolutely no excuse to justify not having a body camera. Whether it is to blame police officers or to exonerate them from having committed a...
Isn't that the TTPS isn't comfortable with being that transparent because they know they're going to do stuff that will come under scrutiny that will not be completely legal?
It is possible, and that is why I did so many things like with the emergency response patrol vehicles. I actually put live video cameras on the vehicles, so that even if you're not using body cameras, we had the operational command center, and we will be seeing the 100 vehicles with live video footage of the vehicle. So the vehicle stops, they're involved in confrontation or whatever. We are seeing what was happening. So and even NYPD didn't have that. So that is what you need. You need to embrace the technology that is there that will allow police officers not to be wrongfully accused, but at the same time, make sure that they can be held accountable and face the consequences if they operate outside that minimum use of force policy.
Yeah. Are those vehicles still operational?
No, that was all shut down. That was all the emergency response patrol, the community comfort patrol, the rapid response unit, the special operational response team, the operational command center, the cybercrime unit, the social media monitoring unit, the gender-based violence unit. One good thing that old McDonald, Jacob, and Euler did was know how to shut down, dismantle, and stop every single thing that was put in place and made Trinidad and Tobago feel safe again.
Gary, your thoughts on Dr. Lee holding office still, even though he has been rearrested and on previous charges? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, again, it is really the call of the Prime Minister. I mean, and it is unfortunate. If the exact thing was done with the government change, the same people who are defending it will now say, bust it throat, take him down. And that is the sad thing about Trinidad. We have probably 1/3 of persons on either side of the political spectrum that, regardless of what, they will find a way to defend or find a way to demonize. So people are now fighting up to defend the reason for it by saying, but what about so-and-so? What about Faris and the car? What about Foster? It's not about the what about. It is whether it is that it should be done or not. It is the Prime Minister may very well say this person is innocent until proven guilty. It would be a difference to how she operated in 2010 to 2015. Because if a man pinch a nipple, you get a throat bust. So
somebody pinch a nipple?
Pinch a nipple. I guess you're saying just by the way. So
that seems strangely familiar though.
So nipple pinchers were being fired. If you had a fight with your girlfriend in Grand Bazaar, you'll be fired.
Oh, you went there too.
What about if you grab a man's pants and say, "What is that you have in your pocket there?" You get fired.
Anyhow, as we go along, moving on. So it is really the decision of the Prime Minister. She will have to accept the consequences. I know there's going to be immediate pushback if he is charged and he remains in office. But it is really the call of the Prime Minister, and she would accept responsibility for the decision that she makes.
Gary, I want to ask you something, right? Concerning something that I saw in the newspapers the last couple days, and it had to do with two situations with the ongoing, and I feel it's ongoing problems within the police service. In one case, there was a man who had spent like 18 years behind bars for murder. He was freed because the court ruled that the evidence the police submitted was inadmissible. I think that's what they say, right? I think that means to me, either we robbed an innocent man of his freedom or we let a guilty man walk free, right? And then the other thing, there was another case which started out as a simple traffic stop that turned into a full confrontation, and an officer blocking a road, struggling with the motorist, missing body cameras footage, and in the end, the case collapsed because no police witnesses ever showed up in court. And these things continue to happen. What are your thoughts as a former commissioner of police when you see and you hear of these things still happening?
Well, yeah, but as it pertains to the first one with police absenteeism in court, that was one of my biggest headaches I received. My first year, there were 75 different things they measure your performance by the Police Service Commission. I got 72 very good or excellent. The 3 I didn't get involved, one with my association with the media, surprise, surprise, how I dealt with the media, and another had to do with the massive police absenteeism. I couldn't have done that overnight, and it took me a lot of work because many criminal elements were involved in committing crime, knowing fully well the police will not turn up for court, whether it is based on slackness, whether it is bribery, whether it is injury, retirement, death, or whatever. And it took me a lot of work to get that overturned. And the Chief Justice and everyone, they commended us for it. It was a 87 to 93% improvement in every single division in the police service to remove the police absenteeism, because we started checking every single week the officers who were absent and have them disciplined. Because going back to that situation with the Andrea Barrett, these 2 men who were involved in raping 63 women and being freed, the vast majority of the times they were released is because police didn't show up. And we allowed probably from the first rape, 62 other women were raped because of slackness by police officers not showing up in court, allowing these men to go back out until they claim that they fell off a chair. And so it shows the importance of police officers being there in court to make sure we go through the end of the criminal justice system. And what I did was, apart from making them accountable and having disciplinary action taken, we had a backup, a reserve officer. So in case that officer will be absent, this officer must turn up. That played a big part in the criminals realizing, okay, now there are consequences for my actions. I can't get a get out of jail free card. And it played a big part towards that crime reduction. All of those things, again, have been shut down. That importance of monitoring police officers to make sure that they turn up for court. Pertaining to your other situation, the other matter, the reason why I drafted the Ministry of Justice was twofold. The Ministry of Justice was drafted firstly to deal with the problems in the prison, because you cannot have the prisons under the Ministry of National Security alone. The prison system is in such a mess. We are probably one of the highest recidivism rates in the world because of poor rehabilitation in the prison. Young persons go into prison, they come out a more seasoned, hardened criminal. And so it was to transform the prison system, but also to improve the criminal justice system, where persons will be in remand for a longer period incarcerated than the maximum sentence of the crime they committed. That is unacceptable, which goes even back to the Section 34 situation. The Section 34 was a good law. It's just that we looked at it from a issue and whatever. But why would somebody lose their whole lifestyle for 20-something years? They can't get a job. They are blacklisted because the state does not have the capability to prepare the defense in a proper and timely manner. That is why the Ministry of Justice was drafted. So now to move the criminal justice system and the prisons from the Ministry of Justice, it leaves one to wonder, well, what is the Ministry of Justice there for anyway? Because those were the two main things that would have been required. And let me just add again, going back to the David Lee situation, I remember one of the things I have a serious concern with is political manipulation of persons who hold office in the protective services. As Commissioner of Police, I took offense to a politician contacting me at the time to say, I got the files on David Lee to do your work and to have him arrested. Ministers, I get granted that people must face consequences for their actions, but in the same manner, it seems that government officials spend more time going back on files to play the game of catch you, rather than serving people. So to spend your time because you hold a position that you can dig into files of persons and compile it to give to the commissioner to bust the throat of a political opponent. I think government officials should spend more time trying to serve people than trying to spend their time in trying to see how you could bust the throat of other politicians to keep yourself in office.
Gary, before you go, because we're about closing off, the issue of the Anti-Corruption Investigation Bureau going back to the Attorney General's office, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, if we go back to history, the ACIB was formed initially through Ramesh Maharaj as the Attorney General. If you look at the District Attorney's office in the United States, they have police officers that work there with them. My initial view, and the DPP at the time when I was Commissioner of Police, is that I saw we had arms in white-collar crime stumbling over each other, one hand not doing what the other was doing, and it meant that there was actually a duplication of investigations at times. So I agreed. I said, okay, let's bring the ACIB back under the police service. And what I did, I took the fraud unit, the FIB unit, the the cyber crime unit, and the ACIB, brought them under what for the first time known as the white collar crime unit. And thinking that it will work, it did not work. What happened, unfortunately, the same way you have PNM police officers, you have UNC police officers were deliberately stalling investigations. And therein lies the problem. You will have investigations that were clear-cut, and these officers were deliberately holding back on it. And I could go right back to the same ACIB. In 2021, I submitted a report that was straightforward. And a first-year law student or most junior police officer would have understood that this is a matter that requires immediate investigation. Where it is a previous chairman of the Police Service Commission withdrew a merit list without the approval of the Police Service Commission. That is misbehavior in office. And the ACIB sat on it. You know why? Because it would have caused a domino effect to the senior politician who turned President's House into a post office to drop a piece of paper that was known as a secret report, even though it came from a civilian with no authority, littered with lies, and they used that as the excuse to justify it. So the investigation would have included, was he involved in aiding, abetting, influencing, intimidating that person to have committed a crime as well? ACIB sat on it. You know why? Because they had PNM police in there. And then you even go back to the situation with Brent Thomas. A judge stated that the person, that he cannot understand how these people who abducted a citizen are still in the police service. 3 years later, they're still there because the person who did it was given instructions by a government minister to travel to Barbados, because no police commissioner of police has authority to have any police officer leave our territorial waters without approval from the Minister of National Security. So it shows that sometimes if something is under the umbrella of the police service, even the commissioner of police doesn't have the authority. Mark Hernandez was investigated by 30 police officers from 7 different units by an acting commissioner of police on a fishing expedition and to find something. And we have Ola Christopher was charged by an incompetent head of the legal department because he didn't understand the Firearms Act, and he's still there. So it shows that at time to have somebody a unit outside of the police service to prevent rogue police officers from covering up these investigations.
Gary, but coming back to Wendell's question though, do you agree with the ACIB going back going to the AG's office, going back to the AG's office fundamentally? Because what's your take on that? Because will it be independent enough under that, because that's a quasi-political post in a kind of way, right?
I mentioned why. Because when you have all of these units under the umbrella of the police service, it just takes one senior ACP or somebody to tell them, just hold on that, just leave that and let it run idle. When it comes under the umbrella of the Attorney General's office, the rogue police officers who all will be probably polygraphed, you're going to monitor and realize he's a PNM, he's a UNC, he's a ABC, he's a XYZ, he needs to be removed. Let it also be remembered to all, the DPP's office is under the office of the Attorney General as well.
It is. But the DPP does have a constitutional independence.
Well, so do police officers. Just like how I told Rowley where to get off when he wanted me to arrest people because they were wearing swimsuits by the pool. The commissioner of police as well. I
agree with you.
So what it requires is professionalism and maturity by those who hold office to make sure they will not be manipulated by politicians.
Gary, in 30 seconds, the TTPS is broken. Can it be fixed?
Of course. It was transformed. I received a broken engine and I turned it into a Lamborghini within a few years. It can be done. Let's not knock these police officers. They are some of the best in the world. They go out there and they train, and the special branch and others, and they top courses. So and you would have seen it and how people remember the police service was given public trust and confidence 59%. It was the highest in the public service in 2021. Now it's the lowest at 8%. There's nothing stopping it. These are the same police officers. What is required is the maturity and the leadership to make sure that police officers have consequences, and you motivate them so that they operate to full capacity. It can be done.
All right. That's what we're going to have to leave it. Garrett Griffith, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate you, as usual, taking the time to speak with us.
All right. Take care. You're in your shiny camouflage. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. 8 o'clock news is next.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio and Guile Caribbean. I'm Derek. Housing Minister and Caroni Central MP David Lee has been granted $1 million bail by the High Court. Lee and firearms dealer Hugh Leong Poi were rearrested on October 7th, months after fraud charges against them were dismissed. The charges relate to alleged abuse of a tax exemption for parliamentarians on a luxury Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG vehicle. Both men appeared before Master Lisa Singh Phillip on October 8th. Lee was granted $1 million bail with a surety, while Leong Poi received $600,000 bail. The arrests followed instructions from DPP Roger Gaspard under Section 23(5) of the Indictable Offenses Act, which allows previously dismissed matters to be reinstated once a judge reviews the evidence. The Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago has appointed 7 new non-executive directors to its board, effective September 12, 2025, for a 3-year term. The new appointees are Dr. Anne-Marie Mohammed, Anne-Marie Mativier Hernandez, Dr. Indira Sajwan, Mahindra Maharaj, Ralston Singh, Dr. Trisha Parali, and Vijanti Behari. They will join current board members Joel Jack, Kern Gardner, Lorraine Ferguson, Richard Duncan, Professor Surendra Arjun, Suzette Taylor Lee Chi, and Terrence Walker. A new board has been elected for the First Citizens Group following a special general meeting at the National Academy for the Performing Arts in Port of Spain on October 8th. The new board members are Joanne Budasingh, Javan Lewis, Prakash Donraj, Shankar Bidasi, Dr. Sterling Frost, Christelle Smith, Sandy Rube Chand, Nichelle Granderson, and Tricia McNeil Beckles. Shankar Bidasi, who also chairs Udicot and First Citizens Holdings Limited, was elected chairman of the group's board, while Lindy J. Balatol was named corporate secretary. Acting CEO Jason Julian continues to lead the group. CEO Karen Darbasi remains on administrative leave ahead of her retirement on October 20. Captain Don Polo has been appointed the new Chief of Defense Staff of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. He received his instrument of appointment from President Christine Kangaloo on Tuesday, following advice from Defense Minister Wayne Sturge, who consulted with Prime Minister Kamala Persad Bissessar. Polo's appointment came immediately after the revocation of Air Vice Marshal Daryl Daniels' tenure, which ended his 8-year term as Chief of Defense Staff. The instruments of revocation and appointment were served to both men shortly after 8 p.m. at the Ministry of Defense's Temple Court office. Minister Sturge thanked Daniel for his dedicated service, saying the change would not affect the force's operations. Before his promotion, Polo served as commanding officer of the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard. Police are investigating the death of a 1-year and 8-month-old girl found unresponsive at her home in Low-Key Trace Penal early Tuesday morning. Officers responded around 5 a.m. and met 60-year-old Geeta Mahadeo, who had been caring for the child, Chelsea Singh. Mahadeo said her daughter left Chelsea and 2 other children in her care over the weekend. Chelsea developed a mild fever Monday evening and was given tea around 11:30 p.m., but refused to drink. She was placed to sleep on a mattress in the living room and later found unresponsive around 3 a.m. Paramedics were called but were unable to revive her. Police say there were no visible signs of violence, and Chelsea was found wearing diapers with casts on both feet. Police are investigating the death of 41-year-old inmate Rafi Muhammad, who was found unresponsive in his cell at the maximum security prison in Aruca early Tuesday morning. Officers said Muhammad, of LaFortune Jackson Place, Woodland, was discovered around 5:30 a.m. in cell number 99. He was taken to the prison infirmary, then to the Arima Health Facility, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Reports indicate Muhammad had overdosed on metformin pills last week and was treated at Mount Hope Hospital before being returned to the prison on Monday. Metformin is commonly used to treat type 2 diabetes, but in large doses can cause serious health complications or death. In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump says a peace deal to end the Gaza war is very close, following 3 days of indirect talks between Israel and Hamas in Egypt. A Palestinian official told the BBC that mediators from Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey made good progress, especially on prisoner exchange lists and guarantees to prevent renewed fighting. Trump received a note during a White House event from Secretary of State Marco Rubio, informing him of the breakthrough. He later said he may travel to the region on Friday. The talks in Sharm el-Sheikh focus on the first phase of Trump's 20-point peace plan, including a ceasefire, release of all hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners, and partial Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. Despite optimism, officials say disagreements remain over withdrawal maps and the timeline for prisoner exchanges. And that's news at this time.
That was news now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Pay $1 down on higher purchase plans at Furniture Plus. Enjoy fast approval, low interest rates, and up to 36 months financing. Retirees, self-employed, and permanent employees apply today. Buy now, pay later with Furniture Plus credit plans. Conditions apply.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Devante tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rum Box. Drinking out of the box.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
Don't miss Furniture Plus Inventory Blowout Sale. Get up to 65% off in-store and online. Enjoy massive savings on furniture, appliances, and more. Hurry, this deal won't last. Shop now and save big at Furniture Plus.
People can't get enough of the #1 comedy of 2025. You don't need file to watch Corn. It's now at Cipriani College on Saturday the 11th of October at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 12th at 6:30 p.m.
Dancho is real baccaral.
Tickets available now at the usual outlets and at the Cipriani College box office from Wednesday 8th of October, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily.
Don't play mad and miss this show, you know.
I see that show 3 times. Kenna is the best.
You don't need file to watch Corn. The bacchanal continues.
To watch corn.
All right, we are back. Interesting chat. Interesting.
Yeah, we are back. So, of course, this is where. What?
I know. I was saying something.
This is where we wrap up the. Okay, so this is where we wrap up the breakfast show this morning. We in our closing off minutes. I just want to say that you don't leave foul to watch Corn is on at Cipriani College this Saturday and Sunday. Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30. Of course, tickets available at K Squared Fashions, Westmore, Eastgate, and Brentwood Mall. Jabili Rawi in Chinnapuna, Sharfler Auto Services, and Tony's Florals in Val Park Shopping Plaza. And of course, in Aremians, you can get your tickets at Electronics in Arema. Of course, you can also purchase your tickets at the Cipriani College box office, which opens 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily, as well as you can purchase tickets online. Lots of people are purchasing tickets online. You can go to RSRR Productions Theatre, and you can see all of the information on how to accomplish the purchasing of tickets online. RSRR Productions Theatre on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok will give you the information to achieve buying the tickets online. Looking forward to a fantastic 2 shows this weekend. Of course, it's Thursday. The weekend begins tonight, people, at a second after midnight. And so have a fantastic day, whatever you do. And remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
All right. Don't forget, tomorrow it's your day to contribute to the program. And Rumbox will, of course, Gilan and DJ Shane will be at Rumbox on October 31st, Halloween Day. You can wear a costume if you want. I know some holiday don't really need because it doesn't look like.
When day of the week is that, Wendell?
What's that?
Friday.
A Friday.
What day of the week is a Friday?
Friday. Yeah, that's
I
Rumbox
was
Day.
wondering which day of the week it is.
You know, for the very first time in my life, we have actually decorated for Halloween because of my teenage daughter. She loves Halloween.
Is that so?
Yeah. But I used to stay very clear of Halloween. But she made money with go and buy all kind of spider web and cobweb and everything about it.
That's nice.
I have human beings in my life.
And a scary man in the corner and all kind of thing.
I have human beings in my life that's scarier than anything Halloween have to offer.
Yeah, we believe that. Like the tornado yesterday.
Yes, tomorrow.
You have a nice yard to drape us at the cobweb, you know, Wendell.
What's that?
I said, Wendell, you have a nice yard to drape us at the cobweb, you know.
Yeah. You come and do it now.
All them trees.
All the trees.
So I said, well, look, children can make you do things. So now I'm telling you, I would say I'm looking forward to Halloween now.
Yeah. I mean, anything to bring you joy and celebrate and bring laughter and smiles. Yeah.
That's exactly how I
mean,
see it.
a lot of adults in Trinidad a lot of adults celebrate Halloween in Trinidad by going to parties and costume parties.
Mm-hmm.
So it's another excuse to fete.
Mm-hmm.
And it's picking up. It is picking up over the last couple of years and stuff.
But we're gonna have some specials at Rumbox
anyway,
on that day. Right? We're gonna have some specials giveaways at Rumbox on that day. So don't
on Friday. What time it starts though on that Halloween day?
5 p.m.
I'm fine.
Oh, I am really delayed with you, Richard.
I have to try and fit it in. Yeah, I'll have to finally fit it in to try and fit it in my calendar.
Of course.
So good to see Sir Charles and
Gaylan.
And Gaylan. Sir Charles. I mean Shane.
Yeah.
Gaylan and Shane.
And Corey Pascal.
Oh, Corey's in part of it too.
Well, he might come down if he's in the country.
If he's in the country.
That's what I was going to say. If he's in the country.
Yeah.
Because he a more frequent flyer miles than some pilots,
That's true.
He's sometimes in the air. He's sometimes in the air more than pilots whose job it is to get you in the air.
Exactly. Captain Ron retired 65 and ain't fly more than Corey yet.
No, Corey beat that back. All right, this is where we wrap it up. Thanks for joining us this morning. We know you have a choice in what you watch and what you listen to, and we're glad you chose us. Tomorrow is Friday. The weekend has begun. You know we love a Friday. So we'll speak to you bright and early tomorrow morning. And of course, tomorrow is, we just open up the lines and you can talk whatever the hell you want to talk about. I was what?
Talk with the lady who was Friday. Tomorrow you'll find out. Tomorrow will be a real trouble day and all. Richard has get plenty trouble on a Friday.
Plenty.
Me? I has get plenty trouble on a Friday.
What?
I'm thinking of what we can come up with as a poll on Friday.
But they have whole day to think about it.
Some personal experience will come to the fore and I'll have to poll that.
That is what we're hoping for. That some personal experience will come forward.
Yeah. All right. So, folks, remember to let go and let God.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. So this is where we wrap up the breakfast show. And just in case you didn't know, tomorrow
It's a
is
Friday, baby!
just a preview of what's happening tomorrow. This has been the Breakfast Show.
Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay